Everybody, this is Calkins. Today we are going to be working on perpendicular lines, and it's really similar to parallel lines. The last lesson that we did, there's only one exception. Perpendicular lines are two lines that intersect at a right angle. So a situation like this. Here is the trick about perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines have slope that are opposite reciprocals. So here's what that means. The opposite, that just means the opposite sign. And reciprocal, a quick way to think about reciprocal just means to flip it over. So if you had 3 over 2, the reciprocal of 3 over 2 would be 2 over 3. So you have to change it to the opposite sign and you have to flip it over. So here's an example of what this would look like. In this little example, let's say that this has a slope of 5, okay? So if I have this line, I'm going to say the slope of this line is 5. So the slope of this line would be the opposite reciprocal. So that means instead of positive, it's going to be negative. And the opposite of 5, or the reciprocal of 5, is 5 over 1 flipped upside down. So that would be 1/5. So if one has a slope of 5, the other line is going to have a slope of negative 1/5, the opposite reciprocal. So let's try number 1. It says, write the equation of the line perpendicular to 2x plus 4y equals -1 and passes through the point -1, 3. So we're going to break this down into 3 steps. Step A, first we have to find the slope of this equation. Now, some of you were a little confused on the parallel assignment. You don't have to do this step in every single problem. If your equation is already in slope-intercept form, you don't have to do this step. But right now, I don't know what the slope of this is because it's not in slope-intercept form. So to put this in slope-intercept form, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So that leaves me with 4y is equal to -2x minus 1. So now to get y by itself, I'm going to divide everything by 4. And so y is going to be negative. This simplifies to 1/2 x and minus 1/4. I don't really need that. Now, here's the whole purpose of doing this. I need to see what this slope is, okay? So the slope of my first line is -1/2. So step B, now that I have this, I want the perpendicular slope. If one line has a slope of -1/2, the perpendicular slope of the other line is going to be the opposite reciprocal. So the opposite of -1/2, opposite of negative is positive, and the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. So this is the slope that my new equation is going to have, okay? So now I have the slope. Now I'm going to use my ordered pair for step C to find the y-intercept or find B. So now I'm going to take my slope and my ordered pair and I'm going to plug it into y equals mx plus b. So that's going to be 3 is equal to 2 times -1 plus b. 2 times -1 is -2. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. And the y-intercept of my new line is 5. So I'm going to take this slope of 2. I'm going to take this y-intercept of 5. The answer to this would be y is positive 2x plus 5. This equation would be perpendicular to this equation. Okay? So let's try it again for number 2. So I'm going to find the line that is perpendicular to this equation. So I have to go through all 3 of these steps because this is not in slope-intercept form. If this was already in slope-intercept form, I could just identify the slope and find the opposite reciprocal. But since it's not, the first thing I have to do is identify the slope. So step A, I'm going to take 3x plus y is equal to -3. I'm going to rewrite it in slope-intercept form to identify my slope. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So when I do that, I have y is equal to -3x minus 3. The slope of this line is -3. So for step B, I want the perpendicular slope. So if the slope of this is -3, my perpendicular slope would be +1/3. Okay, opposite reciprocal. So now I'm going to take my perpendicular slope and my ordered pair, and now I'm going to find the y-intercept. So I'm going to plug all of that into y = mx plus b. My y value is 2. My m value is 1/3. My x value is 6 plus b. 1/3 of 6 is 2. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. My y-intercept is 0. That doesn't mean I don't have a y-intercept. It just means that it goes through the origin. So your answer to this is going to be y = 1/3 x, my perpendicular slope. You can put +0, or you can just leave that y-intercept off and just have y = 1/3 x, okay? Come to Zoom tomorrow. I'm going to be in there at 1, or today, whatever you're watching this. On Wednesday, come to Zoom. I'm going to be there at 1 o'clock because I have another meeting that got scheduled on top of our original Zoom class. So I hope to see you guys there. I miss you, and I hope you're doing well. Thanks. Bye.